I got. Brand new racing rig from P1 Sim Sports. Triple screens, full cockpit. This thing is insane.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here at HUSETS Speedway. couldn't be happier to be here. We're moving all around the map, but we are here with the Midwest Modified Series presented by P1 Sim Sports, and I am joined alongside by Alex Gagnon, my producer, my partner, and my excellent analyst. All our cameras are provided by Dougie Beard. We couldn't appreciate him more to get Dougie Beard in here with all these cameras because, as you know, Alex, we need a lot of cameras for stuff like this, especially
you betcha. Yeah, this place is no different, that's for sure. HUSETS brings an interesting flair to what we've seen so far. Not too often we have so much, dare I say, infrastructure around one of the racetracks we've visited so far this year on the Midwest Modified Series, and HUSETS has certainly got that in spades. We've got some fun camera angles for y'all tonight. That's strictly from me being excited for it, but I mean, honestly, as far as the actual on-track product, we're 3 races in, Scott, and I mean, this has just been an absolutely stellar series. Can't wait to see what HUSETS has to offer, because this place, you know, it may not be super crazy banked, but boy, is it fast.
Oh, it really is. Throw up our schedule again because I want to give it a quick chat, a quick mention for all of our viewers. I mean, I think we said it, Kokomo was the best race we have had yet, but HUSETS probably going to be able to rival that, and of course we'll go to Fairbury next week on a week from tonight at all, of course, the normal time. But for the first time last week, we did not see, who was it, Dustin Hennigan win, and we saw Braden Avila win. Yeah. So that was a little bit of a different deal that we got to see. But let's check out those points. Hennigan still leads it by 50 because I did look as well. You get basically 16 points for a win as well as some of the other bonus points. So don't think that Braden Avila or any other drivers are really far out of this. You can gain a lot of points per race, especially for a win. And remember, we saw Daryl Bass, who currently sits in third. We saw him jump across the start-finish line last time, all 4 wheels in the air, and was able to finish on the podium. That was insane. Truly
wild. The most insane finish we've had so far this year. And he got a good points day out of it. He's moved up to 3rd in the points now. I think going into Kokomo, he was 7th or 8th. Now up to 3rd, less than 100 points back of Hennigan. That's less than a win between the 16 and the 90 now. And he's right there with Avila, who picked up the win last week. Things are starting to, after Hennigan looked like he was in firm control of this thing, last week really kind of reset the table. And it's opened up a lot of opportunity here. 5 drivers already north of 300 points. It's going to be interesting to see where things sit coming out of HUSETS tonight.
Well, and I agree with you because we saw a lot of shakeups after Kokomo. Obviously, Mason Setting and Mason Newmiller both dropping a handful of spots, 4 and 5 spots from the race before at Lucas Oil. And then you had some big movers. Noah Smith up 6 positions overall. Nicholas Moley up 10 positions overall. Same with Dalton Kane. And last driver there, Ethan Patterson in 19th position. He jumped up 15 spots with just his first race. And remember about Ethan Patterson, we almost lost him in the LCQ, but he was able to pull on through.
Yeah, he had to really grind to even get into the mix there to make the feature, and then he capitalized on being there and now finds himself in the top 20 going into HUSETS tonight. Still a long way to go, of course, to get into that top 10 side, but certainly if he builds off that effort from Kokomo last week, no doubt he'll be there in a short work.
Well, let's check it out and see how what's gonna happen here from HUSETS this evening, because I think a lot of drivers were talking about that this track is very different from a lot of the others that we've been to, not only with its infrastructure around the track, but just the way the track is in its shape. I saw a lot of drivers in practice running on the bottom line. Not many have gotten up towards the wall yet, but I think as the night goes on, Alex, we will see drivers try to move further and further and move the cushion up to the wall, because really there's an extra lane right now that is filled with cushion and fluff.
Yeah, there is, and I think the drivers here in the heats are really going to take advantage of that. So the heat analysis on your screen here, we're going to have, I believe, 3 heats here tonight. 8-lap heats. Top 3 will advance to the feature. The rest will enter into the LCQ. With, as always, of course, the open setup that is rulebook enforced here tonight. Looks like we've got 8 cars ready to rock and roll, Scott, for the first heat tonight at HUSETS. And let me tell you, there is some heavy hitters in this opening heat.
There are. Dalton Kane starts up front on row number 1, along with the aforementioned Ethan Patterson. Then it's the 90 of Daryl Bass, who got that second place finish last week at Kokomo. Then it's the 14 of Dakota Proud. Of course, don't forget about the 28 of Cody McDonald and the 1 of Landon Falkenberg. Then we talked about Mason Newmiller dropping a handful of spots after missing the feature race last week. Well, he is in 7th, and it'll be Cameron Stefanski in 8th, although he is yet to take the grid. We'll see if Stefanski will be able to join us for this second race. Stefanski has joined. He's made 2 of the races so far, but he sits just inside of the top 20 in points. You saw him right behind Ethan Patterson. So Stefanski definitely needs a start for this race, but it looks like still, Alex, he has not joined our grid.
Yeah, nothing popping up on the live timing here. Makes me think he's still working on that race car. So either 7 or 8 cars about to rock and roll at this 3/8 of a mile speedway. Very different from 3/4. 3/8 of a mile speedway here in Brandon, South Dakota. This place, a little deceptive, only about 6 or 7 degrees of banking in the corner. However, it runs so much faster than you'd expect for that flat amount of banking because of how nice of a cushion you can form. You can already see it starting to take a little bit of effect here from the warm-up. These guys are going to be ripping here in just a moment.
Let's see how they get on. Green flag out for heat race number 1, and it is Dalton Kane leading them into turn 1 with Patterson right behind.
And already some battling here for third. Bass to the inside of Proud, trying to hold on to that third spot. The 14 trying to work up high. Looks like the 90s got it for now as they work their way back in the 1.
You saw Proud grazing up against the wall, got himself a little bit tight against that wall. You got to be careful not to slow yourself down. Now Daryl Bass looking to the inside of Patterson. Patterson loose out of turn 4, and 90 leaning on him. Bass giving a little bit of a nudge into 1.
Yeah, Daryl Bass, we know he's a physical race car driver from the past couple weeks. Now he's looking for the lead here going on the lap. Number 4 is going to take that spot from Dalton Kane, who was also a podium finisher last week. These guys finished 2nd and 3rd. Bass flipped over Dalton Kane, or not Dalton Kane at the line. Dalton Kane was able to capitalize. But either way, these guys were on the podium last week. And now Bass setting sail with only a couple laps to go in this heat.
Bass from 3rd to 1st and did it gracefully and with good measure. See Dalton Kane grabbing a little bit of the wall there. He's under attack now from the 14 of Dakota Proud. This is a spot for the transfer with only 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, Kane trying to hold on to it. Proud and McDonald trying to take it away. Right now they're battling for 4th. Kane just in front of him, running that low line. Closing off the lane for Proud. Opens the door for McDonald to get in there in the 1. And here comes
Proud
Newmiller.
Jumped the burn. Here comes Newmiller. Proud jumped the berm with that left front and allowed Cody McDonald to move out on the high side, but he's only got 1 lap left as they cross this time to take this transfer away.
Oh,
McDonald
Kane's
and
around.
Kane, they make contact and spin into Newmiller. Proud makes it through, same with McDonald, but we've already taken the white. Daryl Bass will come around this time, take the win from 3rd to 1st in heat race number 1. Ethan Patterson and Cody McDonald survives the madness after turning around the 7 of Dalton Kane and puts himself into that 3rd and final transfer spot.
Yeah, we'll see real quick if we can get a replay of what happened here with Kane.
You can see it. McDonald knew it was 1 to go. They make contact right there on the entry to the corner. And it stacks up into Newmiller as well as, who was the other? I'm trying to think of who it was.
I want to say that
Kane.
may have
Was
been, it was Kane, McDonald, and I want to say it was either Newmiller,
it was Newmiller.
or
Yes.
or
I had a little
Proud
bit
who
of a
was in
brain
there.
fog there.
Yeah. Well, just like that, we're already off the heat number 2. It's tough to pull up the replays when there's a caution that late into the heat because of how quickly iRacing changes the sessions over, so apologies if you didn't get a great look at it, but we did watch it happen in real time. So you're able to probably rewind it there on YouTube for a moment and take a quick look at what happened. As we get ready for heat number 2 that's coming your way in just a second. It's going to be Joseph McIntyre Jr. rolling off in 1st. Jaden Freiberger rolls off in that 2nd spot in the 35. Julian Shanks rolls off 3rd. Josh Dyer in that 4th spot. Nick Moley rolls off 5th alongside James Murphy. And the last row will be the 21 of Kaylor Hogan and Nathan Tripod in the 42.
We got Nathan Tripod coming back. That's so fun. I can't even lie. That is just a fun name to say. Nicholas Moley, who Nicholas Moley had we talked about earlier within the standings, 10 positions gained from the last race. And so Nicholas Moley, of course, he did not make the second race. He wasn't even there from the heats at Lucas Oil. So Moley was looking for a good run, and he had a good run, finishing at 4th at Kokomo 1 week ago. So Nicholas Moley trying to kind of back up that top 5 performance with a second one here. We talked about McIntyre Jr. as well. He was running in the top 5 all evening long at Kokomo when he got involved in a late race wreck. It put him 8 laps down and 13th.
And that just shows the level of attrition that we saw last week at Kokomo. The finishing 8 laps down still got him a 13th place finish out of 20. We had a lot of cars go out of that race early. McIntyre out of that one late, still got a decent finish. Certainly, though, not the result he was hoping for with how fast he was through the majority of the feature. Opportunity to try to right the ship here tonight, rolling off in the first spot in this heat.
Well, and I didn't even get to talk about Jaden Freeberger, who currently sits 5th in the overall standings. He's on the outside of that first row. Let's see how he can do this evening and see if he can get on to it and maybe take a heat race win, but he definitely wants to transfer nonetheless. We are green flag.
And diving it in there already, it's Shanks looking to the inside. That's Dyer trying to hold off that spot for now. Dyer now already in the mix with McIntyre as Murphy goes on by for 4th, now looking for 3rd.
Here we go. Look at the 47 of Joshua Dyer. Goes through the middle, looking for the high side. A little bit of a squeeze there. Freeberger squeezes into the 65.
Here we go down the back straightaway. Freeberger's got it. Then it's Dyer settling in. Murphy in that 3rd spot. Now Dyer takes the lead away.
Dyer up at the front. Now, Freeberger in 2nd, James Murphy in 3rd. No such challenge from behind for the transfer position at this moment. The 44 back about 0.8 of a second. He's in a hot and heated battle with Nicholas Moley. So these 3 up front, they can transfer in if they want to, as we see a bit of a scuffle between Tripod and Shanks.
Yeah, battles here for 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Contact between McIntyre and Moley. There's more action happening here for 2nd. Murphy continues to try to work the inside on Freeberger, just not finding the speed on corner exit that he's looking for as we're coming to the white.
Coming to the white this time for Joshua Dyer, who started back in 4th place. And talk about James Murphy, started back in 6th. He's looking for 2nd now, but it's going to be the crossover from Freeberger. Again, both of these drivers will transfer in, but here we go. Joshua Dyer will take the win in heat race number 2. Oh, and I'm a little early. I think I'm a little early. Okay. I got a little confused there. They wrecked after the line. Okay. We're good.
Yeah, no, I think we've got the 3. Oh, I'm actually sorry. That's on me. I was a little bit behind there on the line.
That's what I was wondering. I was very confused because I saw that we still had 1 to go.
Yeah, no, that's it had synced, or what's the word I'm looking for? It synced so well that I was about to lap off. I apologize to that. But we, we're rocking and rolling now.
You saw it there, James Murphy as well as Jaden Freeberger. That was after the checkered flag that they got into each other, so they will both transfer in, as well as Joshua Dyer, who is the winner of heat race number 2. So those will be your 3 transfers in from the heat. And now we've got 1 more, I believe. Don't count me on this one because we had 25 total cars tonight, and we only have 8 in this heat. So I don't know if we'll have a 4th one or not. We will have to see following heat race number 3. But let's get you your quick grid. It is Connor Murphy and Dustin Hennigan on the front row. Then it is Mason Setting and Michael Boyd, the number 55, starting in row 2. Row 3 will consist of Kyle Davis and Dan McLeod. And final row, row number 4, will be Ricky Thompson and Braden Avila, last week's winner from Kokomo.
Yeah, all the wins so far this season rolling off in this heat between Hennigan and Avila. Avila, though, has a lot of work to do if he's going to work his way up to the front. You see Hennigan trying to get a little bit more work in on that cushion before we go green. Should be a fun heat here. A lot of talent in this. I said that about the first heat and the second heat, but, truly, there's just a lot of really, really fast race cars that are shuffled into every one of these heats tonight.
Well, a lot of these drivers, pretty much half of them in the top 10 in points, and 2 of them your 2 race winners. Green flag already in the air. We got big problems for Michael Boyd. He somehow keeps it straight, but got messed up there after starting on the outside of row number 2. They all keep it straight, and we keep it green, and Connor Murphy will hold them from the front.
You can see there's a little bit of front-end damage here to the 55 of Boyd as he's battling Thompson for the 5th spot right now. Certainly not a way he wanted to start this. That car not handling right off the wall, going to fall back to 8th. Man, a tough start tonight for Michael Boyd.
Michael Boyd, even though there's 5 laps remaining, might have to look for the LCQ. That car just messed up and not running how he would want it to. Look here, battle for the lead. It is Dustin Hennigan pulling the slider on the number 5, and number 5 checking up. That's Connor Murphy. He's going to tag the 16 left rear just a little bit. They're going to make more contact, and maybe that opened the door for Mason Setting.
Here we go as Hennigan trying to get away from Setting. Setting and Murphy going to do a little bit of battle. Setting's got that spot for now. Murphy back to 3rd. Starting to have a little bit of a gap here. Back to Kyle Davis as we make our way with only a couple laps to go.
It'll be 3 to go across this time for Dustin Hennigan. I believe, and I got to check this, I believe he has won every heat that he has been a part of.
Yeah, there's a reason he is sitting atop of the Midwest Modified Series standings right now as we hit the 2 to go. This guy is just absolutely flying across this racetrack right now. Get a little bit of a sense of what it's like throwing it into the corner here at HUSETS. We go on board.
Really got everybody settled out.
Yeah.
White flag. We got everybody settled out in this race. No more battles for position pretty much between anyone. Ricky Thompson looking for the inside of the 17 of Kyle Davis, but it's not a spot for the transfer. It's Dustin Hennigan out of turn 4, picking up the heat race win in heat race number 3, and Mason Setting and Murphy coming across single file to take the last 2 transfer spots.
So we now know 9 of the cars that have advanced here to the feature race tonight. So we get ready for, I believe, the first LCQ of the night.
Yeah, so 12 laps, so it will be the first LCQ, so only 3 heat races this evening.
I believe it's the top 6 will advance here tonight.
Or hey, we didn't even
get
to mention that Braden Avila did not transfer in.
No, he's got some work to do here in the LCQ. Last week's winner worked his way up from 8th to about 5th. That simply, though, was just not going to be enough to advance. He's got some work to do if he's going to advance here tonight in the LCQ.
Well, let's see if everyone joins, because remember, Cameron Stefanski did not join his heat race. And I believe, if the math, again, is still always correct, we'll have 21 in the feature. We had 9 already go through, which means for our 2 LCQs, we'll have 6 make the transfer. And with Stefanski still not on the starting grid, I believe everyone will transfer from this LCQ race.
So Dakota Proud, Kyle Davis, Joseph McIntyre, Landon Falkenberg, Braden Avila, and Julian Shanks in this group. Cameron Stefanski would be the 7th. Does not look like he has taken the green flag, though. Did not in the heat either, so all 6 of these guys probably feeling pretty good about advancing here tonight. At this point, it's a matter of track position. Winning this will qualify you, in that 10th to 12th spot. And if you finish at the back of the field, you're rolling off somewhere between 18th and 20th.
Well, exactly, and so that it's not this race is not important, because you still are going to be determined where you will start in the main feature. And I think that's going to be really important tonight, is that the HUSETS track can get really narrow, really fast. So you're going to want as much track position as you can. But as we saw from Cody McDonald, you can definitely make passes and get up through the field, especially on the bottom. Darrell Bass was using it to his best. So, Proud, Davis, front row, LCQ, 12 laps. And there we go. Green flag for Dakota Proud.
Here we go in the turn 1 already. It's going to be McIntyre looking to the inside of Davis for a second, coming off the back stretch. Dives it back into 3, trying to work the bottom. Braden Avila right there as well. He is trying to make it a 3-car battle for second.
Avila jumps the berm, and you can see how it upsets the race car. When you do get up on that berm, it slows you down by quite a bit. Again, every driver will transfer. It's strictly a battle for starting position within the feature race. Here's Kyle Davis in that black and red number 17, but falling back slightly. Had a problem off of turn 4 last time by. It was McIntyre Jr. moving through. Avila using the bottom to his advantage, looking for second place, but jumps the berm again out of 4.
Yeah, Avila's really trying to work the bottom, keeps clipping that bottom of the racetrack, though. Just has the car getting a little unsettled, costing himself a little bit of speed, and that's part of the reason we see McIntyre and Davis still very much in this battle, as this battle is going crazy for second right now, but it's costing all of them time to the race leader, Dakota Proud, who just continues to open up a gap as Avila and McIntyre are now side by side for second.
Saw Avila then jump the berm once again, slowed him up on his exit of 4. McIntyre Jr. holding the high line, not quite going all the way to the bottom. He's sticking with the middle lane. Now Avila going to decide to move up. This time across, we cross halfway. Cross flags in the air from the flagman. Avila moves up high, pushing the cushion further and further. He wants more. He wants second.
Yeah, he's right to the back bumper. McIntyre tries going up the highway here. Not quite going to do it that time. A little bit of contact. Boy, this is getting crazy as Kyle Davis works his way back into the picture. This 3-car battle for second has been going since the drop of the green flag in this LCQ.
This is what we were waiting for and something we might see in the feature. Avila really pushing the issue to push the cushion up higher and use and rip that high line, and he has made it work. He made the bottom work early on against Davis, and he made the top work against McIntyre Jr. Avila has continued to prove that no matter where you put him on the racetrack, he can find a way to move forward.
Yeah, and Dakota Proud now catching Landon Falkenberg here on the front stretch with 2 to go. Coming into a little bit of lap traffic here, trying to work his way to the inside as the 1 goes high. Will clear him with relative ease as this battle's still on back here for third. Kyle Davis has it. McIntyre trying to get it back as we come to the white.
White flag in the air for Proud. McIntyre Jr. too far back from the 17 of Davis really to make any sort of move. Dakota Proud started up front. He's got a 1.5 second lead, and he'll end it up front. He's the winner of LCQ number 1.
Yeah, dominant run there for the 14. Probably his best drive we've seen of him so far this season. Got a little bit of clean racetrack and just took off. Avila, Davis, McIntyre, your top 4. Shanks and Falkenberg round out the field. That was a good heat there if you're Dakota Proud. I got to imagine that gives you a lot of confidence going into the feature here tonight.
See, I think honestly Avila has the most confidence because the Proud he had no challenges and everyone was fighting behind him. It's good to run good clean laps. It's very important to be consistent, but Avila really got to put on some of that work and saw that he could use the bottom and the high line and made it work and got in a good position because of it. So I think he's got some good confidence after making moves. But this is LCQ2. We'll have to wait until we see all those drivers once again when we get to the 40-lap feature race. Again, 12 laps here for this second and final LCQ to be Nicholas Moley starting on the front row alongside Mason Newmiller. Row number 2 will consist of Ricky Thompson and the 42 of Nathan Tripod. Row 3, 5th, and 6th will be the 7 of Dalton Kane and the 41 of Dan McLeod. Final row on the starting grid will be the 21 of Kaylor Hogan and the 55 of Michael Boyd. We saw Michael Boyd early have problems in his heat race, get some front end damage, and the car did not race the same, but Michael Boyd will have his work cut out for him in this second LCQ.
That he will, and with Kaylor Hogan, I don't believe taking the green flag here will leave us with 7. So I do believe that means everyone is just fighting to not be the car who finishes this thing at the tail end of the field. Easier said than done, though, with the amount of talent in this second LCQ.
It definitely is. We see Nicholas Moley. We just spoke of him earlier in his 4th place finish 1 week ago at Kokomo. And we saw Nathan Tripod have a great beginning to his races here in the Midwest Modified Series presented by P1 Sim Sports. He had a pretty decent outing last time by. I'm trying to look for his name right now and make sure I get him correct on where he finished 1 week ago, but I'm having trouble even doing that. So I'll stick with it, and we'll stick with this race here at HUSETS in that bright lime green number 42. Also want to give a big thanks to No Coast Customs, Colburn Race Wraps, Featherston, Welding and Fabrication, Infamous Raceworks, and KD Speed Shops. Couldn't do this league without them in the Midwest Modified Series presented by P1 Sim Sports. We are green. Nicholas Moley in that bright and orange, yellow, green machine will send it into 1 and out of 2 now, leading the field.
That he will. Ricky Thompson immediately jumps up there, takes that second spot away from Mason Newmiller. Nathan Tripod settling in the 4th as they will work their way back in the 1 and 2. Side by side for 5th, Dalton Kane trying to hold off a charging Dan McLeod.
Dan McLeod looking into the inside now. Dalton Kane gets a great run out of turn number 4, and you see up here, they're side by side for 5th spot. Kane gets a little bit of the wall out of turn number 2, and he is now in 6th position and possibly under attack from the 55 of Michael Boyd. Remember, you just can't finish last because only 6 will transfer out of our 7 starters. Back up at the front, it's Mason Newmiller trying to attack the 24 of Ricky Thompson, and they're both looking for the lead at Nicholas Moley.
Yeah, right now, Newmiller settling into that 3rd spot, trying to rebound after a tough week last week at Kokomo. Newmiller right now in that 3rd spot, trying to find a way to get up to Ricky Thompson here. Easier said than done, as we are already about halfway through this LCQ. Laps just ticking away, and he's starting to lose touch here from 2nd.
Closing in on halfway here from HUSETS in LCQ number 2. And look at Nathan Tripod. He started 4th. He is sitting in 4th, but slowly trying to close in on the 6. And as he's doing that, he's going to make contact. Dan McLeod gives a little shove to the left rear from behind. So Dan McLeod, he's also trying to make some moves, having gained 1 spot from the start of this race. Backs off after that contact. We're on to lap number 8.
Yeah, and right now he is trying to work the inside of the 42 here to 3 and 4. Works his way through the middle of the racetrack. Easier said than done. Not going to be able to make it happen that time. 4 to go right now. And Nick Moley starting to get a little bit of company here. Ricky Thompson has reeled him in. It's about as close as Thompson's been this entire LCQ.
Thompson will continue to try to gain ground. I wanted to give you an update on the transfer spot. Michael Boyd, 9/10 out, now a second out from behind the 7 of Dalton Kane. So no battle for the transfer right now, but the battle is hot and heavy for 4th spot between Tripod and McLeod.
Yeah, McLeod almost took it away there off of 4. Couldn't get the throttle down. Tripod running the high side. Slider there from the 41. Now McLeod's got 4th as they go into 3 and 4 for this penultimate lap.
Tripod had to check up. It's McLeod into 4th spot. Again, both transfer positions. White flag taken for Nicholas Moley. Thompson tried to gain ground as much as he could, but was not able to eventually get up to Moley. Moley will bring it across the checkered flag and win LCQ number 2 to make it to the feature race.
And it looks like it will be Michael Boyd who finishes 7th here, about 4/10 off from Dalton Kane, and I think that might be all she wrote for the 55 here tonight. Certainly a frustrating day for the driver of the 55 machine. We're going to step away to a brief commercial break. When we come back, continued coverage of tonight's race from Houston Speedway. The feature is coming up next.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Yo, you won't believe what I got. Brand new racing rig from P1 Sim Sports. Triple screens, full cockpit. This thing is insane.
Welcome back, viewers, to HUSETS Speedway with the Midwest Modified Series presented by P1 Sim Sports. We've got just a couple of seconds really left in warm-up, and we've got 21 cars that are set to take the grid. We'll see if we get all of them, Alex. But let's talk about what we're expecting to see. I think Dustin Hennigan, I think we thought, last week he was going to go for 3 in a row, but obviously something happened. And so, I think up front, I'm going to say that Hennigan, Avila, and Bass are going to be some of your strongest cars out there tonight. But you can't forget about Mason Setting, Nicholas Moley, guys like Mason Newmiller as well, and Jaden Freeberger. I mean, let's not forget, Freeberger was fighting for second place last week at Kokomo when he got involved in an incident. So if we're talking straight up odds, I'm looking at a lot of those drivers like Hennigan and guys like Avila. But again, something can always happen because we saw Hennigan finish in 13th last week at Kokomo after getting involved in a wreck. So I don't know, but I feel better about starting up front and staying out of as much chaos as possible.
Yeah, I certainly feel like that's going to have to be the case, as the 21 cars, just about everybody who showed up here tonight, going to be able to run in this feature. Sans just a couple of folks, and this should be a wild race here tonight. I guess it's time to bring you your starting grid here tonight while we've got a second. Scott, if you want to kick us off in what is our starting grid for the feature tonight at HUSETS Speedway.
90 of Daryl Bass after winning heat race number 1 will start up front along with Joshua Dyer, where he winner of heat race number 2. Then it is Dustin Hennigan alongside of the 13 of Ethan Patterson. Then in row number 3 it is the 65 of James Murphy and the 3 of Mason Setting. Row 4 will consist of the 28 of Cody McDonald and the 35 of Jaden Freeberger. Rounding out the top 10 in row number 5 will be Connor Murphy as well as Dakota Proud.
Looking back to row number 6, it'll be Nick Moley in the 2 alongside last week's winner Braden Avila in the 25. Ricky Thompson rolls off 13th alongside Kyle Davis. Mason Newmiller will be 15th alongside Joseph McIntyre. Dan McLeod rolls off alongside Julian Shanks in row number 9 with Nathan Tripod, Landon Falkenberg, and Dalton Kane rounding out your 21-car feature here tonight. Tell you what, if there's one car I think is going to be in really good shape here tonight, it's going to be last week's podium finisher, Daryl Bass. This guy won his heat. He's looked really fast. He's got a lot of clean track to start here. Might allow him to try to get away from, Dyer, Hennigan, and some of these other really fast cars that we've seen here tonight.
I'd have to agree with you. And let's speak of Dyer's. Oh, Daryl Bass. I just remembered I believe he got a penalty, did he not, from last week?
Oh,
and he has an EOL. Yes. We
He's not the
completely
only
forgot.
one.
That is a huge storyline.
Yeah, he is not the only one. He is one of a couple who are going to have to deal with that here tonight. I want to say he's the only one who has the official EOL. Everyone else just got a warning from last week, but that includes guys like Murphy and Jaden Freeberger. As we are now racing Dustin Hennigan and Josh Dyer leading us to green. The 40-lap feature underway here from HUSETS.
We'll keep an eye on the 90 of Daryl Bass to see how he will be able to progress through the field after starting. He was going to start on pole after winning his heat race. Caution already out. Trying to see what it was for.
Yeah, still trying to.
It looked like a stack up. It looked like Jaden Freeberger was near it. He kind of went up high, but I'm not seeing anybody turned around. Maybe it happened behind it. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to check it out. I'm not seeing anybody get anywhere near sideways or around. I see Kyle Davis got in the wall just a little bit. Not seeing anybody around though. So not sure what this one's for, Alex.
Yeah, we're gonna take.
Can't say with certainty.
No, I'm trying to find it here. Taking one more look at it here on the old replay machine here, the NLR Instant Replay. Take a look here at the back of the field, and it looks like even ATVO is a little confused on what we were looking for here. Nothing popped up even as a yellow in my session events, which is always how you know we've had a really questionable caution if it doesn't even register in the session events. The only thing that I've seen was this mark here for Dalton Kane that was, quote, driving slowly. We'll see on the restart here if this has anything to do with it. I don't think it is, though. I suppose I could be wrong, but everything looked good there through 1 and 2. We make our way to the far end of the racetrack now.
See a little contact there, and there we go. That's what it was.
Didn't take
much. Great call, Alex.
Yeah, it didn't take much, but just enough to trigger the yellow. So we'll jump back to our live shot. And we're just about ready to go again.
Yeah, sitting in the pit lane at this moment, maybe trying to fix some damage. But big story for Daryl Bass to have that EOL from rough driving last week and starting from the rear. Again, we'll keep you updated, but that put Dustin Hennigan on provisional pole, and he led all of those opening 2 laps. It is going to be really tough since Hennigan is starting out front for anybody to come try to get by him, because he was fastest in practice, he was fastest in warm-up. And by the way, that stat I said about his heat race wins, well, he's won 3, and his worst finish is second in just one of them.
Yeah, but tell you what, someone who's real hungry to try to take it away is Joshua Dyer here, looking to the inside on the restart. That 47 got right to the inside, falls back a couple car lengths here in 3 and 4, but he is putting a lot of pressure on the 16 right now in this short couple laps that we've had.
Saw a little nose-to-tail contact between Dyer and Hennigan. And look at Patterson. He's already up towards the high side. He's getting a great run, but has nowhere to go with it. Keeps tapping the bumper of James Murphy in the rears. And look at Mason Setting. He's trying to work the bottom. Squeezes the 13 of Patterson just a little bit. This is a battle for 4th. And look at Cody McDonald. He's trying to get a piece of it.
Yeah, Cody McDonald right there as well, currently sitting in that 6th position. A little bit of separation there. You see Freeberger doing a little bit of battling just behind a big slider in front of Dakota Proud. Boy, oh boy.
What a move by
Yeah.
Jaden Freeberger. Made it stick, slid between him and Proud and McDonald, and there was just enough of a car width gap for Freeberger to fit himself into. Dakota Proud, maybe he was probably not too unhappy about that one, but probably got a little nervous in his seat there.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him if he did. He's still working the inside of the 35 now as Proud continues to try to work his march to the front. He was fast in that first LCQ, trying to work his way through traffic. He didn't have to do a lot of that. First time he's really had to do it here. As Justin Hennigan still has not really gotten any separation from Josh Dyer. That gap only about a quarter second as they go back into 3. That 47 could just reach out and grab the back bumper right now if that thing had an arm.
Oh, there we go. A little bit of right rear contact in the wall for the 47 of Dyer. Got to make sure you don't make any hefty contact and get any damage. You got to have a perfect and pristine car to fight with the 16, and he is fighting with the 16. Nearly lifts up the rears of Dustin Hennigan. Dyer, he has come to fight. He has not come to play around.
No, he has not. Got to the inside there in 1 and 2, but had to keep off that inside part of the racetrack. Worked up just a little bit, lost a little bit of speed, settles back in. James Murphy doing a really steady job right now, piloting that 65 to the 3rd position as these top 3 are starting to break away from the pack a little bit here, Scott.
Murphy has had really consistent runs. He currently sits 4th overall in points. We continue to see him fighting towards the top 5 each and every weekend, as the first lapper of the evening is the one of Landon Falkenberg. He's going to stay towards the bottom. All your leaders stay up towards the front as more contact between Dyer and Hennigan, and that brings in furthermore the 65 of James Murphy.
Yeah, and looking around the field a little bit, we've got some great action happening a little deeper in the pack. Freeberger and Dakota Proud, these two have not gotten separated at all. That's Avila and Thompson who get together there going in the 1. Got some good battles. Here comes Daryl Bass knocking on the top 10. What a drive for the 90 here in the front half of the feature.
Proving Daryl Bass, he's proving that he is great here at HUSETS. I think he's going to need more and more time, maybe a caution to bunch back up the field, but he's got a lot of drivers, a lot of customers up in front that he's going to try to pick off one by one. I was about to mention Braden Avila not moving too much farther through the field after starting in the mid-pack after having to go to an LCQ. He currently sits in 10th spot, so last spot in the top 10 is filled by Avila. But not moving as quickly as I thought he would have, Alex.
Yeah, after such an inspired drive last week at Kokomo, you thought he'd be maybe a little further up. Having some trouble right now clearing Ricky Thompson. That 24 machine is really stout right now. I'm not letting him get by. As Josh Dyer still under attack here from James Murphy. Every opportunity that Dyer doesn't make the move on Hennigan, it allows the 65 to get right in the tire tracks and make something happen. And before long, the question is going to be what's going to fall first, the battle for the lead or the battle for second?
I could not have said that better myself, Alex. That was absolutely beautiful. Got to think as well about the track condition itself and the tires and how they're going to react over this run. We're watching along with this battle between the 35 of Freeberger as well as Dakota Proud. They've been battling pretty much all race long ever since we went green from the first restart of the night. Watching along as well with Braden Avila. He's going to tab the back of Thompson right there out of 4. But really, Thompson has been a roadblock to Avila so far.
And meanwhile, there is contact for the lead. Dyer got into Hennigan off of 4. Murphy got into the 47. It is getting physical for the lead here at HUSETS. Hennigan still has it, but boy, they are knocking down the door. At some point, that thing's going to open whether he wants it to or not. The 16 trying to get some separation here. Easier said than done.
I really think just from this that Hennigan's not really moving away almost at all. That I got to think that Joshua Dyer may just be the faster UMP, but just cannot find a way by the 16 of Hennigan. He's just got such a unique line that he's able to defend from the 47 of Dyer. And, of course, James Murphy still right in this picture. I mean, 3 cars in a line right here for the lead. Here's a run from Joshua Dyer. He's going to make heavy contact with 16 of Hennigan, moves him right up out of the groove. And Joshua Dyer, your new leader, and James Murphy follows him through as well. That's Hennigan back to third, but now to the inside of Murphy.
Yeah, got to imagine Dustin Hennigan not thrilled with that. He's got a little bit of time here to try to reel in the 47 once again. Dyer and Murphy get clear. Hennigan back to third. Murphy has still stayed glued to the back of that 47. This battle for the lead is not done yet because James Murphy has refused to let Josh Dyer breathe in the opening 28 laps.
We thought Kokomo was good. You can't ask for better with a 3-car battle for the lead. Green flag racing. What a beauty this has been. Already 28 laps in the book, on to 29 with just over 10 to go. Joshua Dyer leads the field. Then it's Murphy, Hennigan, Setting, all in this top 4, and then it's a second back to Ethan Patterson. These top 4 have really gotten in a breakaway because guess what? Mason Setting is becoming a part of this picture, Alex.
Yeah, he certainly is. Mason Setting, who currently sitting in that 4th spot, started 6th, and as all these guys have battled, it's let Setting get into the picture here. He's to the back bumper of Hennigan in 1 and 2. We got 10 to go right now, and this is truly a 4-car battle for the win. Can't ask for anything better with the way this race has been going. Fantastic stuff tonight at HUSETS.
No, and guess what? Joshua Dyer has yet to make a feature. So he has not made a start in a feature yet this season. I don't know how many attempts he has had, whether this is his first or his 4th, but he has yet to start in a feature race, and he is absolutely coming to fight. Saw him win his heat race, and now he moved Hennigan up out of the way to lead this field. Lap traffic, that is Nathan Tripod as well as Julian Shanks. They're going to pass up on the high side. Lap traffic will yield to them on the low line. This is going to hurt the run of James Murphy, who needs both lanes to try to attack.
Yeah, Murphy was hoping he'd be able to use Dyer as use the lap traffic as some kind of pick on Dyer. Did not come to fruition. 6 laps to go. I mean, he has been right there every step of the way tonight. Has just not found what it takes to really make a move here, but he's close enough where if he gets ambitious in the closing couple laps, he might be able to throw a rather daring slider.
Well, I mean, we saw what the 47 of Dyer did to move Hennigan up out of the way. Could James Murphy possibly do the same as we see Julian Shanks spun up on the berm? No caution for that. He is off of the racing surface, and now he is in the pit lane, so we will remain green, and we just have 3.5 laps to go.
Yeah, here we go. They're taking the 3 to go this time by. Dyer still has the advantage by less than 0.2 of a second over James Murphy. If the 65 is going to make a move, got to imagine he's thinking about making it right about now because he is just about out of time here.
Quick update, Braden Avila up to 8th. Daryl Bass from the rear after the EOL is up to 9th now. Great run for them, but with the green flag racing, there was not enough time for them to make a move. What could have been, as we got a big stack up, cars upside down. Could we have a caution before the white flag? I don't think we're going to get one. Still green on the speedway, 2 laps remaining, 1 to go now.
Here we go, white
Dyer,
flag in the air.
Dyer now up above a broken car. That's Ricky Thompson. He's going to come to the checkered flag, and he wins here at Houston Speedway in an absolute thrilling finish. Started up from the front row, moves Hennigan out of the way, and holds off the charging James Murphy.
An absolutely shocking victory there for Josh Dyer. I'll be honest, I am very surprised there was not a caution thrown. Thompson and Avila both are going to finish 1 lap down. They were running about 8th and 9th. They're going to finish 16th and 18th, respectively. A brutal finish there for those guys. But for Joshua Dyer and James Murphy, what a drive it was. And for Dustin Hennigan, the drive that what could have been to try to make it 3 in the opening 4. 3rd podium in 4 races, but very well could have been a win with the amount of laps that he led here tonight. He led 24 of the 40.
Well, and you got to imagine that a lot of that, I just don't think he was the fastest car. I really, at where he qualified and won his heat race, I really think he was the third fastest car of the evening. Joshua Dyer seemed to be faster in those opening 20 laps, just needed to get a little physical to move him out of the way. You got to maybe wonder if it was a little too physical, because he really moved him up out of the groove, and I'll be excited to talk to Hennigan about his thoughts of it. I'm also really interested, and same with you, Alex, that there was not a caution for that big incident because we had yet to take the white flag, and there were cars upside down. Braden Avila was a part of it. He finished 18th, and he was running 8th.
Yeah, and they had to work their way through that portion of the racetrack more than once, which was rather shocking to me. But we're going to step aside for one last quick commercial break. When we come back, final results as well as interviews with your podium finishers coming up just after this.
Yo, you won't believe what I got. Brand new racing rig from P1 Sim Sports. Triple screens, full cockpit. This thing is insane.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Racing.
You just saw a raw, all-out battle for the lead. It was three-way battle for the lead between Dyer, Murphy, and Hennigan, but it was Hennigan coming out on top. James Murphy coming up just short, but continuing to put good points in the bag as he continues in the top 5 of the overall standings. Dustin Hennigan, who started from the front after the EOL for the 90 of Darrell Bass, finishes on the podium 3 out of 4 for the 16. Mason Setting and Ethan Patterson bring it up for the rest of the top 5. Then it was Cody McDonald, Nicholas Moley, 6th and 7th. 8th position, the 90 of Darrell Bass. He went from 21st to 8th. A great run for the 90 after having to take the EOL from last week's actions. Then in 9th, it was the 6th of Mason Newmiller, and top 10 for the 35 of Jaden Freeberger.
Looking back to the back half of the field, Dakota Proud will finish 11th here tonight after winning his LCQ. Connor Murphy finishes 12th. Dan McLeod finishes 13th, just ahead of Kyle Davis and Joseph McIntyre Jr. Ricky Thompson will finish 16th with Nathan Tripod and Braden Avila just behind him. Julian Shanks and Dalton Kane rounding out your top 20, with the one machine of Landon Falkenberg finishing in the 21st and final position here tonight.
Let's bring in the drivers, and let's see, I believe we're going to bring in Joshua Dyer. And yes, Joshua Dyer, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Joshua, I got to ask first because I want to make sure I wasn't wrong. I know that you haven't made any features yet, but was this your first race tonight with the Midwest Modified Series, or had you attempted to make other features? I want to get my facts straight.
I ran Cedar Lake, and
Okay.
it got killed in D main or C main. I don't really remember, so missed out on that. For some reason, Lucas Oil is a blur to me. I know I missed last week, and then this was, yeah, I guess either my second or third time back.
Okay, I wanted to make sure because I remember we having called your name before, but this was an absolute stellar night. But let's talk about obviously the thing that everyone's going to want to talk about, the contact between you and Hennigan. It looked like for a while there that you were the faster of the two. Hennigan was kind of using a defensive line, entering on the bottom and sliding up. You using more of an attacking line, entering behind him and then trying to power up off the corner. What do you make of that contact? I know we're going to talk to Hennigan about it. Do you think it was a little more than you would have liked to have given, or was that just what you needed to do to take the lead away from him?
No, it definitely was rubber racing. I'll leave it at that. Just I had the faster car, like you said. I could go anywhere on the track, and I was just running Hennigan down. Just when it comes down to rubber racing like that, I mean, unfortunately, that's just how it is. You got attack when you can. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'd go high. He'd kind of come up on me. Obviously, if you got your sounds upright, you can hear where the car's at behind you. I went down low one time, got a good run out of 4, and he nearly ran me all the way down the straightaway as low as he could. So that's just kind of when I said, "Cat's out of the bag. I'm going to make my move when I can," and I
Well,
did.
and you did, and you held it from then, but you were not without company. James Murphy was pretty much sticking along with you all evening long. Was there any concern about him making a possible move like you did for Hennigan, or were you just having to try to defend him, or just able to stay out front of him because you had a little bit more speed?
Oh no, we had a little team discussion there coming in. We pretty much said once it got single file, unless if someone got a run on them, we just wasn't going to pass. Just why tear up cars when you don't have to.
Well, there you go. And one last thing for you. Will we see you be able to be trying for the feature next week at Fairbury?
Oh yeah, I'll be here for sure. I just, like I said, I completely honestly forgot about Kokomo. So, but yeah, I'll be here for Fairbury.
Well, it'll be great, and we'll see if you can have a performance just like you did tonight. Joshua Dyer finishes first, takes the win from HUSETS, and could be a possible contender for future wins as we continue on to the back half of the season. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight, Joshua, before I let you go?
I got to thank Twisted Speed for the setup. All the guys over there. I went on over there a few months ago, and it's just been great ever since. Got a lot of successful wins, up 1,000 I rating, so it's all working out real good for me there. McMoney Designs for the wrap, Knots Towing. And I believe that's everyone on the
Well,
car.
that is every. Well, hey, go celebrate, my man. Good win.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Joshua Dyer, your winner, and made his first feature this evening. He tried for a couple others, Alex, but he absolutely made a statement in his first feature here at HUSETS. Well, let's bring in now second place James Murphy, who rode just behind him.
Hey there, James. This is Alex and Scott in the Vspeed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Tell you what, that was a mighty fast race you put together. Super steady the whole way through. The big question I've got for you is it felt like the entire night you were lockstep with the 47 around this racetrack for 40 laps in the feature. Was that by design, or were you just kind of poking around waiting for the opportunity to try to pounce on a mistake?
No, it came to I drew behind him in the heat race, and I wasn't too much interested in passing him, messing both our races up. So it's team driving, I guess you can call it, but it's such a small track and it was so slick. I wasn't going to chance wrecking us both.
Yeah, and well, certainly it worked out for you. A big points day for the both of you. And, you've already put together a pretty strong start to the season here in the Midwest Wadified Series. Putting together a podium here tonight certainly going to really help that case. How have you felt through the opening 4 races of the season, knowing that you've kind of just been building speed week in, week out?
I felt really good every week. I've had bad luck and had some mistakes, I guess. I haven't really had a good finish to show for it, but we've been fast every week.
Well, certainly seems like the case, and you're finally able to kind of string one together here tonight for the podium finish. James, I guess the big question for you is we had a nice little 38 lap run to the finish tonight. Longest green flag run we've had in the series this season. What was it like really settling into a rhythm and kind of running this whole thing basically wire to wire?
It felt good for a change, just getting into a good rhythm, and I knew I had a decent gap behind me, so I really wasn't pushing the issue in front of me. So just like I said, I was behind Josh, and I figured he would make a move. I didn't think he was going to be that aggressive with it, but I mean, it's rubber racing, I guess.
Well, certainly was the case. That's the exact phrase that he used as well. But James, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you'd like to shout out on the podium finish?
Thank y'all for the broadcast and everybody that puts these races on, and like everybody back at Twisted Speed.
Alrighty, James, thank you so much. Congrats on the second place run, and hopefully we will catch you next week at Fairbury.
Thank you.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, James Murphy. Bad fast in that 65 machine, Scott.
He was bad fast, and you know who else was bad fast? It was Dustin Hennigan. Started up front after the EOL for the 90 of Daryl Bass and held that up front position at that spot in first place for 24 laps. And Dustin, let's go ahead and talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts on the contact between you and Dyer.
I went back and watched it. It definitely got me. It moved me. My left front did break after that, so I was just kind of trying to hang on and take the wheel damage and just do the best I could and stay up front for points.
When before that, did you think that Joshua Dyer was faster than you and you were just kind of having to defend? What was your mindset when you were leading the race till that point?
Yeah, I was just kind of riding, waiting, and I really didn't know where to run. I knew I wanted to maybe that little slider line, but I really didn't know in 3 and 4. And I felt him there a couple times. He got in the back of me and got me a little loose, but I knew he was there, so I was about to start having to pick it up.
Is there any anything going forward next week at Fairbury or any other races when you see that 47 on the track? Is there, I can give him a little extra than I'd give other drivers, or is it, I'm just going to race the same as I always do?
No, that's not my driving style. I'm gonna race my race, run everybody clean as possible. To me, that's not the way to win it. It's to move somebody or something. I don't know if he meant it, I meant to or whatever, but might have been just in hard racing. But I never want to go in there and move somebody for the win when it matters like this.
Well, and it definitely matters for you. You're still going to be leading the overall standings as Braden Avila finished outside of the top 15 after a late race incident. And Daryl Bass had that EOL. He made it back up to 8th, but still not going to put any points on you. So you're still leading the points, and we're now halfway through. How does it feel?
It feels good. We got I was looking at the schedule. Fairbury's my best track, so I feel like I'll be good there next week. I-55, I've been working and feel like we'll be good there. And then we got a Knoxville. I'm always pretty consistent in Knoxville. It really depends how the track gets. And then back to Lucas Oil, we won there week 2, so try to keep the same speed there and try to stay up front.
Man, I feel like everywhere has been your best track. I'm going to see what you're going to have to bring out of the bag at Fairbury, because if this has not been the best, I don't know what will be. So we'll have to be waiting for that. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight, Dustin?
Yeah, everybody at DDR, we're about to get back to work. Looks like we haven't won the last 2, so we need to get back victory lane. And then y'all for broadcasting, Nicholas and his whole crew for putting this on and giving us somewhere to race during the week.
Well, Hennigan will go back to work. Congratulations on 3rd place, Dustin. I know you wanted more.
Thank you.
Dustin Hennigan rounds out the podium. And you heard that, Alex, just a little dejected about the contact and didn't know if it was purposeful or not from the 47 of Dyer. But it's hard to come up short that way, and we learned some new information as well with having some left front suspension broken, and maybe that was part of the reason that he could not come back and attack the 65 or the 47.
Yeah, it really felt like once he had fallen back to third, he was just kind of laying in wait and wasn't able to really make anything happen. And it seems like that was absolutely the reason why. Just a little bit of damage that made it a little bit hard to make your way up to the front. And sometimes that's just the way it goes, you know. And I think he did a really good job holding on to that race car for the rest of the way through, and comes home with a really, really solid points day.
And definitely, and his closest championship competitors had well, I say terrible nights. Braden Avila, his night went from decent to awful, from 8th position all the way down to 18th, and that was with 2 laps to go. And of course, the EOL for Daryl Bass, who looked to be set to start up front and possibly close in on the lead for Dustin Hennigan. Well, he goes back to the back, and he does great on making some ground. There just wasn't enough time for him. Gets up back to 8th spot. So obviously having a better night than Braden Avila, and it's heartbreak for Avila.
Yeah, tough day for the 25, but he's got 4 more races to try to put that machine back in victory lane after a bit of a frustrating day for him, I'm sure. And, looking ahead to next week, we're going to Fairbury for the 5th race in the Midwest Modified Series. Should be a fun challenge for these guys after having such a big berm there in the running HUSETS. Going to be certainly a different challenge here tonight, or next week, running Fairbury.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a different challenge. It's going to be somewhat similar to what we saw at Kokomo with the tires. And hey, I think we saw one of our most exciting and chaotic races at Kokomo. I don't know how to balance the two from tonight compared to Kokomo, because I love the racing up front because it was so hot. I think it would have been easy for this race to get a little quote-unquote boring if there would only been one driver out front leading the rest of them. But I think it made it a little extra interesting that it was a 3-way fight for the lead. But Fairbury is going to be good. It's going to be awesome. Going to be different than here at HUSETS, and I think probably a little bit more similarly to Kokomo.
Yeah, certainly feels like that'll be the case. And that race coming to you next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a blast. And Scott, I mean, honestly, tonight, what a race it was. 3 guys who were really in it the whole way for the win. Couldn't ask for a better main event.
No, you really couldn't, and it was great. It was fun for us to watch. It was fun for us to talk about the possible moves and what drivers could do. And you always want drivers right in the fight. That'll do it for us tonight here from HUSETS Speedway. We'll move on to Fairbury in 1 week's time. Thanks to cameras provided by Dougie Beard, and huge thanks to my partner and analyst and producer, Alex Gagnon. My name is Scott Scheib. We'll see you next week at Fairbury. Congratulations to Joshua Dyer, a winner here at HUSETS.